You ever wonder what really separates the super rich from, well, everybody else? Is it just luck? Did they inherit it all? Or is there some kind of secret formula for building wealth that most of us just, never learned in school? Well, today, we're going to break that down.
Okay, so to really get a handle on the scale we were talking about, let's just visualize it. Here it is, $1 million. I mean, for a lot of us, right, this is the dream, the big number you're aiming for.
All right, now look at this, 100 million. All of a sudden, that first million starts to feel like, I don't know, pocket change, doesn't it? Yeah, we're in a whole different league now. And here we go, $1 billion. It's an amount of money that's just hard to even wrap your head around, right? And to give you some context, Jeff Bezos' net worth, it's been over 117 times this. Just let that sink in for a second. So, yeah, that's the world of extreme wealth. And then, well, and there's the rest of us. Maybe you're juggling a 9-to-5, chipping away at student loans, staring at a credit card bill, and you just have that nagging feeling you're not getting paid what you're actually worth. That dream of wealth, it feels like it's on another planet. And it's so easy to look at that huge gap and just think, you know what, the game is rigged. It's easy to say, oh, they just got lucky, or they were born with a silver spoon, or they must have cheated. It feels like you're playing a game you just can't win. But what if that's not the whole story?
All right, so let's actually dig into that. Let's unpack some of these big myths about wealth. And the biggest one, the one you hear all the time, is that the super rich just inherited it all. But is that actually true?
Well, let's just look at the data. A report from WealthX looked at the world's ultra-wealthy. We're talking people with a net worth of $30 million or more. And what they found is pretty staggering. A full 68% of them are self-made. Only 12% purely inherited their money. So yeah, the vast majority built it from the ground up.
And you see this play out in the stories we all know, right? Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, who literally grew up in poverty, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Sarah Blakely, all of them self-made billionaires. And that tells us something really important. If they did it, they must know something about how money really works that most of us just don't.
So what is it? What do they get that we don't? Well, it all starts by throwing out the single biggest trap in personal finance. It's an equation that almost all of us have been taught to live our lives by.
And it's this: time equals money. Think about it. From the time we're kids, we're told you work an hour, you get paid for an hour. Your salary is based on working a certain number of hours a year. But here's the fundamental problem with that. Time is the one thing we can never, ever get more of. It's finite. So when you chain your income directly to your time, you're putting a hard cap on how much you can ever earn.
Let's just run the numbers to see how brutal this is. Let's say you make $20 an hour, working 40 hours a week. It would take you almost 24 years just to gross $1 million. And that's the trap right there. That number doesn't even factor in taxes, or rent, or food, or inflation, which means that $1 million in 24 years is going to be worth way less than it is today. You are literally trading a huge piece of your life for a number that's not even real.
Okay, so if that whole time for money equation is a broken trap, what's the alternative? Well, this is where we have to totally shift our thinking about how money is made.
And it starts with this simple but powerful idea. Stop chasing money. I know, that sounds completely backward, right? But stick with me. If you truly want to build wealth, money itself can't be the goal.
Here it is. This is the real rule of the game we're all playing. You are not paid for your time. You are not paid for how hard you work. You are paid in proportion to the perceived value that you provide to the market. And the market? That's just all of us, people, consumers. We decide what something is worth.
Just think about this for a second. A cleaner might work way harder physically than an accountant. I mean, sweating all day, back-breaking work, but the accountant gets paid a ton more. So why is that? It's because the market, society, perceives the value of that accountant's specialized knowledge, which could save a company thousands of dollars, as being much higher than the value of cleaning, which is a skill that more people have. See, it's not about how hard you work, it's about perceived value.
So, okay, if money follows value, then how in the world do you create massive value? The answer is actually incredibly simple, but it's also profound. If you want money, solve problems. That's it. Wealth is just a byproduct of solving people's problems. You solve a small problem, you get a small reward. You solve $1 million problem, well, you get the idea.
But here's the next piece of the puzzle. Just solving one person's problem isn't enough to build serious wealth. You have to be able to solve that problem at scale. So what does that actually look like?
The roadmap is basically 3 steps. Step 1, you find a problem. And you do that by listening. What are people complaining about? What drives them crazy? What do they say I wish someone would just invent? That's your gold mine. Step 2, you create a solution for that problem. But, and this is absolutely the most critical part, your solution has to be scalable. And then step 3, you build systems around that solution so it can operate without being attached to your personal time. Here's a perfect example. Think about a yoga teacher. If they're teaching in-person classes, their business is not scalable. Their income is capped, right? It's limited by the number of hours in the day and how many people can physically fit in that room. But what if that same teacher creates an online yoga course? Now that is a scalable solution. It can be sold to 1 person, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people, all at the same time, 24/7, all over the world. Suddenly their income is totally detached from their time. That right there, that's the blueprint. And all of this really leads us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. Why? Why even bother with any of this? What are we really chasing here?
Because let's be honest, it was never really about the money itself. I mean, money's just paper, right? It's just numbers on a screen. What you're really chasing, what we're all chasing, is the feeling that money can give you. The freedom. The freedom to pay off the mortgage and not worry about it. The freedom to buy that car you've always wanted. To travel the world. To just not have that constant stress about bills. It's the freedom to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. And that right there is the ultimate twist. The whole point is to stop trading your time for money, so you can eventually use that money to buy back your time. The one thing that's actually valuable, the one resource you can never get more of. See, the real goal was never about stacking up cash. It was always about reclaiming your life.
So the real equation for wealth has nothing to do with chasing dollars. It's about creating value by solving problems for people and doing it at scale. And that just leaves one final question for you to think about. What problem will you choose to solve?